Hey everybody, welcome to Delta Lodge Outdoors. This morning is Sunday, y'all know I never know my damn dates. Sunday the 15th, it'll come out Tuesday the 16th, 17th. So hope y'all are doing well. What I'm going to dive into today is back on my soapbox, I guess, with the wolves in Colorado, because we've done a little bit of discussing about that. And the past week or so, like, the proverbial shit's hit the fan with those. They are over here having to, like, capture and everything on some of the ones they turned loose for depredation. There was a male and female, and they had like 4 or 5 pups. They had to capture them. The male died. The breeding female is supposed to be being released. The pups was an issue because they've killed the male and female supposedly killed 16 cattle and sheep from April 2nd to July 28th. Pretty impressive numbers. So with that, now they're back into that, having to remove some of them for depredation, which they claimed that the ones they got had never had source cases of depredation. But hopefully, if I'm wrong, one of my listeners can correct me here, but just hear me out on this. They're releasing them fall, winter months. What's the expected plan there? Like, to me, the food sources are less abundant, so you're going to go after the easy prey, i.e. cattle, sheep, goats, whatever the ranchers have. So, is Colorado Wildlife Parks setting this reintroduction up for failure? And if they are, well, why so? What's the reason? Why would you turn them loose in winter when you know that that's going to be the high risk time? Are we, what is the thought process behind that? I'm just an outsider looking in. I've done a lot of research into it. I would love to have somebody come on and enlighten me, but then you got, like, after they're being captured, you got groups that are bitching about them being captured and moved again because, it's not the wolf's fault, it's not this, it's that. Guarantee you they're not livestock owners. It's a shame that they're having it, that the livestock owners are dealing with it. It's a shame for, how the wolves are being handled. If you're going to reintroduce them in a time frame that it's more proficient for their growth. And when I say growth, I don't mean like reproduction, I mean like health-wise, and which, if it's more productive for them health-wise to find wild game to eat and everything else, then obviously they're not going to go after theoretically, they're not going to go after the easier stuff to get, which is the farmers and ranchers' livestock. So I think Colorado Wildlife and Fisheries needs to be examined on this one. I feel that they're setting the introduction up for failure, and then that creates problems between the two parties within, farmers, ranchers, and people that have the Go Save Me Animal Fund, I guess. I'm trying to figure out how I want to word that, and it's like, so we're going that route. Then they released a day ago. I'm glancing over it now as I record this. Canada is gonna send 15 of them for the next wave of reintroduction, and the next wave of reintroduction will be in the winter in Colorado yet again. The process will be conducted between December and March December 2024 and March 2025. 15 of them from British Columbia, Canada. It baffles me why we're doing it that time frame of the year. Like, that's the hardest on all the animals there. So let's add predators to the mix. Like, really? What the hell are they thinking? Or maybe their thought process is to create the issues. And now I'm gonna go way out here on a limb. That creates a lot of fucking divide within that area. Or why would we want to create strife and divide in that area? Why? What are we covering up? What's the issue? That's, I guess, my soapbox for the day. A few minutes of what the hell's going on with the reintroduction and how that's being handled and why it's being handled the way it's being handled, which to me is complete bullshit because you're to put it bluntly, you're fucking the wolves, you're fucking the ranchers. Like, why? What is the thought process? And I could be way off key on this because I am not involved in it. I'm just a guy reading it. And that's how I look at it, but I also know that winter's the hardest time on all herds. So why would we introduce predators to it when we know a predator is going to go after the easiest meal? And what's the easiest meal in that area? Sheep and cattle. Ranchers have the easiest meals to get. So we're going to stop that there before I get too far into it and go on a complete tangent. Where we're at here with Delta Flight Outdoors podcast is we've got a lot of cool stuff in the works, lining up, hopefully with a bunch of guests and everything. I know I've been kind of alluding to that. But reach out to a lot of guys with other podcasts and everything, and we're trying to schedule things between here and the end of the year to get on each other's podcasts and do stuff. I've got a couple guys, I don't want to put a bunch of information out yet, that it might be working out. They come on and co-host a couple episodes with me, and it develops into another podcast that's one's going to be totally different than what y'all expect, and I have no clue where, if it works out, where to go, but it'll be freaking awesome either way. So that's where we're at on those things. Deer season is, let's see, today's the 15th, so it started day in Missouri. That ought to be fun to see what comes out of there. Some of y'all may have seen in Kentucky, they have what they're calling the new world record, 8-point. It's not a Boone and Crockett world record. It's not a Pope and Young world record. So I'll see if I can put the link in the, in the show notes. It's, don't get me wrong, it's a massive deer. Like, pretty freaking incredible. It is, let's see, new world record 8, I'm reading it, new world record 8-point just fell in Kentucky. This buck was taken by Brandon Berman and is 100% free range, but will definitely cause some controversy. It was scored by Buckmaster, which they don't include the spread when ranking the biggest bucks of all time. Berman scores 157 and 7/8 without the spread, beating out the Cullen buck that scored 156 inches. However, the Berman buck has a lower overall score when including the spread. It doesn't appear that this has ever happened before. Congratulations, on the 8-point. It's massive, don't get me wrong. The spread doesn't look to be but 13 to 15 inches, but the deer's massive. I'm actually gonna see about reaching out to this and see what we can get on it. But with, like I said, it was scared by Buckmaster, and when you go in there and you look at Buckmaster, Buckmaster isn't the one that you go with, per se. So, but don't get me wrong, it's a nice deer. Not gonna lie, it's a incredible deer. And to score 157 inches, 157 7/8 without the spread. I mean, even with a shitty spread, you're looking at 170 inch deer. So, pretty massive deer. Wouldn't be upset if I was able to get something like that. And, so congratulations to the dude. And haters are gonna hate. I think one of our biggest problems too is everybody, as soon as they kill a deer, it used to be, how old is he? Now it's, what's he score? If he's legal and you're happy with him, that's what matters. Not everybody's trying to kill a trophy buck. Some people are hunting deer to put food on their table and everything. And getting into that, I think we're going to see a hunter increase in numbers because of where the economy's going, how high things have gotten. And then on the next phase of that, I think we're going to see an increase in people hunting without license and poaching due to how the economy's driving prices up and people are struggling. But that's for another time, another day. So keep an eye on those things. So I think that's going to get to be a scary situation, just because when somebody's in a situation like that, you never know what they're going to do. And I'm not saying that, it's one of those things where hopefully I'm wrong. But if I'm not, it could lead to a big issue. Like I said, I hope I'm wrong. And I want to be wrong. So, but that was a hell of a deer he killed. So, Kentucky's producing some hammers so far early in the year. I think other states are going to fall in there and start doing the same thing. Stuff's lining up for it. So we will see how it turns out. Like I said, we have a bumper crop of acorns. There's a lot of acorns all over. I think a lot of deer have been able to get nutrients. But something that's baffling me, and I know it's still just September the 15th, but I've seen hardhorn bucks in Oklahoma already, in several places. And I know a lot of people are posting pictures of them. I've got an 8-point split brow tine buck here on my place. They were here last year when I moved here. They're still here. And then I saw a spike a mile down the road today. They're all in velvet. Like, not sure what the hell's going on. Like, still in velvet. Now, I could go there tomorrow and they'd be out of velvet, but a lot of guys, their shit's already out of velvet. I'm a little confused. So, I'm just like, oh, okay. We'll go from there and see what happens. I'm super excited about deer season, super excited about the trip coming up. The guys are supposed to be, hopefully, us recording the podcast together before we go, but we're going to record some podcasts and some live stuff and everything while we're gone, and to flood the channel with and everything. So I think it'll be fun. It's drawing closer every day, and I am nowhere. I'm a little closer to prepared, nowhere near prepared. I guess we never are. It's going to be fun. I've got, like I said, the trip planned the first week. The guys should be coming on, hopefully, before then. Then we'll do some while we're there. I should be making a trip later in the year somewhere. I haven't decided, one of two places. That'll come out later. I'm pumped up about the year. I feel like I'm going to have a good year, and I can say this now because the year hasn't started. And by the end of the year, be in the fetal position crying because I had the worst year ever. But hopefully, it feels like it's going to be a good year. Hopefully, it turns out to be a good year, and we go from there. And what I call a good year and what other people call a good year probably aren't the same things. If I can kill one buck with my bow or rifle that's 125 inches or bigger this year, and I know that's kind of a odd number, that's where I'll be happy. Now next year, there's a different story. I'm going to want something bigger. This is where I'm at this year because of time and limitations of everything, so that's where we're at. I think it's going to be a great year all across the board, not just for me. Looking at the way things are lining up, every few years you have this just whoa of a deer season across the country, and some hammers fall. And I think we're there. I think this is a year that we have a bunch of record deer. I'm not going to say like record-setting deer fall. And hopefully they're all done the legal way. And like some of the last couple that have been killed that were possible, world records. So, and that would be the C.J. Alexander buck, possible world record. There's a lot of controversy with it. I've listened to a lot of information involving him. Not sure which way I feel about it. I feel like if you went through all the effort he did to kill the deer and come up with the story he came up with, how the hell would you forget something as simple as your knife where you supposedly gutted it? But why would you gut it when it can be DNA tracked? And anybody should know this. And leave the guts where they can find them. I think I'm not sure. Not sure how I feel about it. Hopefully there's somebody out there that's got more information than me and can steer me on it. But it's like, I know the property in question belongs to the DA's brother. So I think that's going to create a lot of controversy, whether one way or the other. Like, he could be 100% legal, and that's going to make a big stir. And even if he's 100% wrong, since it's the DA that's after him's brother, people are going to, you could have all the proof in the world and people are still going to, throw a fit about it. So I think it's going to be a messed up situation either way, but it was a hell of a deer. Like, if you haven't looked at it, look him up, C.J. Alexander buck. Look up the information. Just for the deer, it's amazing. He killed it with a crossbow. There's a lot of stuff behind it. He actually went on the Hunter podcast, and they record theirs live for YouTube. Like, I'm not live, but for YouTube, so there's video and everything. The deer's on there. It's an amazing deer, and he tells his story and everything. And I can say if he's lying, that is fucking ballsy. Go on a channel with 20,000 or more people, subscribe to it, and tell a story. It's ballsy. So if he killed the deer by poaching, by the means they're saying, then the kid's got a set of grapefruit testicles on him, man. Like, and I shouldn't laugh. I know it's wrong, but it is what it is. I don't think it's right if it was done illegal. And I think he should be prosecuted fully to the extent of the law if it was illegal. But if it wasn't, and he proves himself to have been in the confines of the law, I think it should fall back the other way. He should be able to go after them for all kinds of things. Like I said, there's more people out there that know more about it than me. Y'all can look it up. Or if you're one of those and want to come on and talk about it, hit us up, Dr. Flodge Outdoors. Leave us a comment and everything on any of our stuff, and we will be happy to have you on and talk about it. So, y'all remember, deer season's drawing near. Stay safe. Introduce somebody to the outdoors. We have to get our numbers up, but we have to do it in a professional, proficient way. Because the anti-hunters, they've got their way of doing things, and we go about it as aggressive as they do. We'll have our, we'll be in a bind. So remember, take somebody hunting. Take time to teach somebody. It's always great. I ran into a random guy scouting the other day. Come to find out, we're both from South Louisiana. We're both in Oklahoma on the same public land. We actually scouted the same exact area and ran into each other. Exchanged numbers. We grew up probably 50 miles apart, if that. Exchanged numbers. We text back and forth. He'd been up to Nebraska and then was coming back through Oklahoma. And I was like, look, dude, when are you hunting? He's like, November. I was like, there's some good bucks in the area. I was like, well, I'll probably stay out there for you. But it's like, we sit there and like hung out on tailgates for 2 hours, just bullshitting and figuring some stuff out and talking, hunting Nebraska, Missouri, Louisiana, Oklahoma. sharing information and everything. You know, yeah, we probably didn't like give each other like you always hold back. That's just as men we do that. But you don't have to be assholes about things. You know, it's you're always can learn from anybody if you're willing to learn, and that's the thing. Like, make sure we're preparing the next generation, whether it's your 50-year-old neighbor and you're 30 and he's never hunted, vice versa, or whatever, or your kids or grandkids. Prepare them for the next generation of the next, So, thank y'all, Julius, Craig, Delta Lodge Outdoors. Stay tuned to us. Hopefully, a bunch of big things happening soon. Later.